So to the people of Toronto and the people of Peel, we are seeing where Christmas and Corona is coming together. And the orphans, the widow, those who are lonely, the seniors, the disabled, those who are homeless, those who are less fortunate, those who have lost their job through the Premier Ford's actions, now they will be going through greater suffering. But we can help ease that suffering. So here is what we would like you to do from the Ontario People's Political Party. Since Premier Ford has installed a 28-day lockdown, then we want you to help us show whether Corona is a threat or not. And if it is a threat, then we hope you will help us to stop the spread of the virus. Now, the Premier tells you not to visit your family and your loved ones, and what we are encouraging you to do is to make arrangements to make it possible for you to visit your family and your loved ones. We're asking you to go and get tested. Once you get tested and you get a negative test, what we're asking you to do is to contact the family members or the strangers or whoever you want to visit and let them know that you would like to visit them. And what we would like them to do is to get tested. And once they are tested, if they come back negative, then you can interact with each other because we know that there's no possibility of you spreading the virus among each other because you are negative. If you have tested positive for the virus, then we ask that you wear a mask. We ask that you wear a mask and do all that you can to social distance from those who have a negative test. Does not mean you cannot communicate, but social distance and wear a mask if you are negative and you have not been tested. If you are positive and you have not been tested, or you have not been tested. So what we're asking you to do is to help us stop the spread of the virus. So for those who are getting tested, encourage your family members and friends to get tested. And when they come back with a negative test, then you can interact. And if you would like anyone else to be in your circle, invite them to be tested. And if they are negative, you can invite them into your circle. We have been told that the virus can be rid of from 14 days of quarantine. So the Premier's lockdown is for 28 days. So within that period of time, let's do all we can to show whether there is a virus active in Ontario. And if there is a virus active in Ontario, we will stop the spread if we encourage others to get tested and we take proper precautionary measures if we are negative from the virus. For those who are positive from the virus, we ask that you quarantine or self-isolate for 14 days. And if you self-isolate for 14 days, when you come out of isolation, we're asking you to wear a mask if you are interacting with those who have not been tested or those who have had a positive test. So we are combating the spread of the coronavirus, but we must get the focus back off our Premier, Doug Ford, away from his dictatorship and away from his stats and away from his data. And we must start dealing with humanity, with the people, because the virus is something that affects people. Now, I personally believe that the virus is not the strain of corona from Wuhan in China. We believe that the virus is a local transmission that is created in seniors' homes and in housing programs in areas where there is poor maintenance, poor cleaning, poor hygienic measures that have been put in place. So like in seniors' homes, we have seniors living in their own feces, with bed bugs, with cockroaches, with all sorts of infestations. And we believe that those infestations could lead to a local transmission that creates something that is similar to the coronavirus. But we must focus on the virus and focus on stopping the spread of the virus if it exists, not on the economic crisis that is being created by Premier Ford's approach of lockdowns and regulations and all these other rules that he's putting into place. The only rule that we should have to be following is that we use sound judgment, and that if we are ill or have a flu or have symptoms of something that can be contagious through germs or bacteria to someone else, that we social distance from those people or wear a mask if we're going to be within speaking distance of those people so that we do not spread the germs. And that is if the masks do work. But we do need everyone to come together. And we must come together of one mind. And we must let Premier Ford know that this is not about a dictatorship. This is not about the economy. This is about humanity, and this is about an health crisis that is created. And we must address the issue of health, not the economy, which is what Premier Ford has been doing. I'm Kevin Clarke. I'm the deputy leader of the Ontario People's Political Party. This message is supported by our interim leader, Mr. Troy J. Young. Let's rebuild Ontario and make Ontario good again. Premier Ford, when he was elected to a majority, he was very proud to state that Ontario is open for business. But yet now the Premier is contradicting that with the lockdown of the City of Toronto and Peel, which are the driving forces behind businesses, small businesses in the province of Ontario. By closing those down, the Premier is now saying that he is not open for business. So Premier Ford, what is it? Are you open for business or are you not open for business? Another issue we must address is the Premier's announcement from November 16th. Where the Premier and Minister Thompson went to the public, the people of Ontario, and stated they just signed a contract for 50 million masks a year for 5 years that will create 50 jobs. Those were the words of the Premier, but yet the Premier's statement was contradicted by his minister that says it was 50 million masks over 5 years and up to 250 jobs. So we wish the Premier to explain, is it 50 million masks a year for 5 years, 250 million masks, or is it 50 million masks over 5 years? Because this is very disturbing, because if the Premier and the Minister can't get a signed contract, the numbers from a signed contract in order, how can we expect to be trusting the Premier's numbers when it comes to the spread of the coronavirus? We like the people of Toronto, Ontario, Canada also remember a young boy, 14-year-old, just died from brain cancer. We have a 12-year-old boy that was gunned down in the streets of Toronto. We also have a large amount of people who are dying from opiate deaths and a large amount of people who are dying from other health issues. So let's realize that corona is not the only thing that kills, and we must not neglect the services of those who have other health ailments or are in other forms of social decay, because we must serve all equally. So let's come together and let's make Ontario good again. God bless you. I'm Kevin Clarke from The People. Yes, that is our party's registered name, The People, the People's Political Party of Ontario. We are the original People's Party.